So do you remember when we talked about Prince Harry's book Spare? We might be about to completely 180 that opinion. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing really well today. I am here to talk to you about this book. This is Revenge by Tom Bower, and this is the story, as it says on the front, of Meghan, Harry and the war between the Windsors. Now, I recently read and reviewed Spare by Prince Harry, and I'll leave that video linked somewhere. But then I read this one, and I don't know which one's true, but one of them has to be a lie, because Harry's book paints a completely different picture to this book. This book talks about Meghan Markle and her rise to fame, and her rise into being Meghan Markle. Yeah, it talks about everything to do with her sort of a background and who her family are, and the upbringing she had, the education she had, and interesting anecdotes from friends, ex-friends of Meghan Markle and people who've worked with her, and her eventual meeting of Harry and how the two of them began their relationship, and everything from there. And I have to say that after reading Harry's book, I was left with the impression of very much poor Harry. I felt really sorry for him. I thought that he had been very badly treated, very badly done to. And I thought that some of the stories within Spare were really very sad. In particular, he talked about how his grandmother didn't meet with him right near the end of her life, even though he was coming across to see her, and she had arranged to meet him, and then she cancelled last minute. And I found that heartbreaking. I just thought that was so sad. And the way that Harry painted it, it was that she had this sort of team of people around her who were basically malcontents, who were hell-bent on stopping him from seeing her. And it was so sad. And I felt sorry for him. I really thought that if that was true, then that was awful, really awful. And then I read this book, and if this is true, then I wouldn't have seen Harry either if I was his grandma. I really wouldn't. So I mean, which one's true? Which one's true? Basically, this covers the story of Meghan Markle, and it paints her out to be exactly as the media has done. And I mean, it will do, because this is written by an investigative journalist. However, I just sometimes think that there's no smoke without fire, and Meghan might actually not be very nice. If this is true, Meghan might actually be a bit of a viper. There are some very interesting anecdotes in here following how Meghan seems to have a pattern, according to this book. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's definitely true. I'm just saying, according to this book, Meghan has a propensity for friending people up, getting what she can out of them, and then ghosting them and just cutting them out of her life. And that includes her own family too, which is savage. Absolutely savage. I mean, I've thought I've been savage in the past when I've cut people off, but I mean, I've never just used someone and cut them off. I usually cut people off after they've like done me dirty several thousand times until I eventually cut them off. And then I feel savage when I've done it. Meghan is a whole new level of savage. It looks like she goes after people who can further her career, or who can put her through school and pay for her, and just sort of get a celebrity factor just that little bit higher, just a little bit more. And then she just cuts them off after she's done with them. And it's horrific. And if this is true, then if I was Harry reading this, I would be a little bit nervous, because it almost sounds as if she orchestrated meeting Harry in order to further her own celebrity. And then it almost sounds as if she may be with Harry just for the added plaudits, which I sincerely hope isn't true, because that would be awful. That would be awful if Harry has somehow managed to fall out with his entire family by the looks of it. I mean, I'm not there and I'm not part of it, so I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But if you read what Harry has said in Spare, which really doesn't sound like he's on good footing with his family anymore, and then you read this book, which sounds like Harry will never be on good footing with his family ever again, it leads you to wonder what happened. And if this book is to be believed, then Meghan happened. And it is eye-opening. And some of it must be true, because otherwise I assume the book would have been banned if it was just complete out and out lies. I'm sure that they would have sued and got rid of this book, because the revelations in here are just so specific. We're not talking little vague little tidbits here and there. We're talking specifics of where Meghan has really done people wrong. And then, according to this book, Meghan has a propensity for accusing anybody who doesn't listen to her or doesn't agree with her opinions of being not very nice. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, because I'm not really wanting to say things that would be really bad if it wasn't true. So yeah, it looks like Meghan basically turns around on anybody who doesn't agree with her and makes them a person to be vilified, or makes them a person who will now have people at their door accusing them of certain things. And if it is true, then this is absolutely horrific. Like, it really is very, very bad. And if this again is true, then I would almost go as far as to say that perhaps someone might want to check that Harry is okay, because if this were flipped and this were a man who had come in and got with a princess and he had all this sort of dubious back behaviour, I think there would be more being said. But there are certain elements of this where it sounds almost very manipulative. And if it's true, a classic symptom of domestic abuse is cutting off your partner from their support network. I'm just going to leave that hanging. I'm just going to leave that hanging there for you to absorb. And so, wow. My opinion has changed quite a bit after reading Spare. I haven't actually followed the whole Meghan and Harry drama very much. I know about the whole Megxit thing where she was getting Harry to leave the UK because everyone in the UK was awful. That was a bit weird, reading all of that about how horrible we all are as a nation. But, you know, I'm not involved in this. This isn't my family. I'm not married to Harry or Meghan. And so their reasons for leaving the country were nothing to do with me. However, after reading Spare, I really wanted to know more. I really did. I wanted to know more about what was going on behind the scenes. And so I thought I'd read this, and I'm glad I did. I'm really glad that I did, because it's nice to have the view from both sides, isn't it? So, yeah, if you are interested in the royal family, or if, like me, you're not particularly interested in the whole royal family shenanigans, but you do have a guilty pleasure for a bit of drama, especially such highly publicized drama when it involves the royal family. I mean, come on, you can't get much more high rated than that, can you? And let's be honest, the royal family have had a fair amount of drama in the last couple of years, haven't they? I mean, I won't even get on to a certain prince that we don't need to talk about that isn't Harry. So yeah, the royal family has been scandalized of late. But if you are interested in that, and you are interested in the whole Meghan and Harry and the Windsors and the different personalities of them all, and the relationship between Kate and Meghan and the relationship between William and Harry, then this is a book that I would fully recommend. But go into it knowing that, I mean, it's a lot of it's hearsay, isn't it? Because we can't prove one way or another that it did or it didn't happen. However, it is extremely interesting and compelling hearsay, and for that reason, I absolutely loved this book. It was scandalous in the best possible way. So let me know if you've read this one, and let me know if you've read Spare and how you think they compare, because they are completely different books telling the same story with a completely different tale, just with a couple of the same characters. I mean, we've got William, we've got Kate, we've got Charles, we've got Camilla, we've got Harry and Meghan, and we have the Queen. You've got the same cast of characters, just two very different plays. So let me know if you've read this one. Let me know if you're going to, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.